Yo, we the Flatbush
Zombies.
and you fuck with hot new hip hop and all that good shit, you know. In the words of Jadakiss, it was fun. We like to be colorful. We like to be ourselves, for one, and usually our covers is like an amalgamation of everything that we like and we're inspired by. It's like Eric would be like, hey, I think it should be black and white, and then I'll expand on it, and then Juice will expand on it. So it's not really like a, when we get some of these questions, it'd be so hard because it's not really like a cut and dry formula that we use to do things. Like a lot of that shit just happens and comes together naturally, or just because we're cool people, I guess.
Actually, what sparked this idea though?
Like Jimi Hendrix kind of inspired it a little bit.
Also, I think we didn't want to be illustrated again. The first album, it was like, how could we could never take a picture to express how the first album cover looks. It would be impossible.
Yeah.
Whereas this, we're like, we finally, I think, figured out a way to show how we want to be shown on the cover. That was really a big thing in the beginning. And I just feel like we didn't just want a cover that just had us three on there. So we wanted to add another element to it. And the female body is an amazing thing, and glitter is an amazing thing, and I think that aesthetic is just beautiful. And
Definitely.
it should be sought after and looked at and appreciated a little bit more.
So like in the creative process, because you said it was like super organic, is it something where like you kind of have the artwork in mind and it kind of sets the tone for like what you're trying to do with the album, or is it the other way around, like you've recorded a bunch of songs and then it kind of sets the tone for the artwork?
I think for this one, it was, we had a lot of music already. I remember when we first got the album, like the album artwork, I remember just playing the songs and looking at the album artwork the whole time, and then like it made so much sense. I think a lot of times, maybe like with other people, maybe they do it the other way around. They already know like, oh, this is the cover, let's make the music. For us, it was like the music was already there, we had the title. What can we do now visually to like match up to what the songs felt like or whatever? But I felt like it was like perfect. It was like everything made more sense once we actually had it. It was like, damn, this is Vacation Hell.
I recorded this album with my friends and people I love during times when my aunt passed away. I'm fucking sick. I got a tooth that might cause fucking brain cancer. That's Vacation to Hell. Is finding a way to make the best out of a terrible fucking situation. It's not terrible, it's just life. What you consider terrible today is not going to be that bad tomorrow. That's just a little example. That's everyday things though. Like, I don't like the weather today, so I'm making the best out of it. I'm still smiling. I'm gonna smoke my weed. I'm finding a vacation to hell. It doesn't always have to be so drastic. It's something like death or something like that. Your car getting towed, bro. Your car getting towed. A rental car that you got when you went on your trip to Hawaii gets towed, but you're still gonna figure out to make the best of that situation. So, and that's like.
It'd be just I often think about how I'm upset with the world and how fucked the world is, and like, even if it gets like, like dark or whatever, it's like I'm still here. I'm not gonna hurt myself to remove myself from the world, or you know what I mean. No matter where you are and stuff, you gotta like find some type of like atonement with yourself. So that could be another vacation.
And I also feel like it gives people an idea, like to let them know where we were for this 2 years. 2 years nowadays is a long time to not drop an album. Time when people, 2 years. Some niggas have 10 mixtapes in 2 years. So like, I feel like it's called a vacation because some people really thought we were sitting at home doing nothing. Like, playing around maybe, but like we want to show you like, nah, this is what was going on. This is what's going on with us. So yeah.
Well, one for me was when we recorded the Portugal band track. We literally did it like 5 a.m. in the morning. Studio closed at 6. The last song that we actually recorded on the album as well. We were just trying to like beat the clock and get it out, and it just came naturally. It flowed really well. So that's one of my memorable moments.
Just kind of biting off that real quick, how'd that come together? Because when you're like looking down the feature list and you see that, it's just like, it's kind of crazy for a rap album to have that, but when you hear it, it's like super fitting at the same time. So,
well, we're all friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
We I forgot how long ago, but we went to a show. I've particularly been a fan of the band for a while, and then ironically we became cool with them. And John and I are like homies. Him and I have a lot of similarities, like drawing and writing music and producing music. So it was like, it made sense. And I know for maybe other people, it's like, how the hell did that happen? But I'm like, dude, like this dude is very relative to us. And he's also been in the game for a long time and had multiple albums. So for us, it was like to have somebody that's accomplished so much on our album. It was like I was really, really appreciative of that, you know. And the song came about pretty easily. It was a song that was already, I think, was going to be on the prior album, but for whatever reason, it didn't make the cut. And I think Danger Mouse like produced it or had something to do with it. And then when I got it, it was just like all these people were part of it. I didn't even know any of that. And I had to figure out a way to like make something new and also so we can identify on it. Also, it's their best and our best. Yeah. So.
Well, Meech always wanted Jadakiss on the record before the record was even finished. The Bun B record we actually sent out to some other people, but they didn't get it done. And the beat kind of just called for Bun B in a way, like it feels like the South. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's quoting Pimp C's lyrics on there. You know what I'm saying? It just felt right. It felt natural, and that's how it came about.
Yeah.
It's crazy to feel like no, not to take anything from UGK, but I feel like we're like the new age UGK. He even said something like that to Eric, and I feel like we are like underground kings. So for us to have a song with Bun B, it's just like it makes me smile. Like it's just one of those things that it still doesn't seem real. It's not gonna seem real till the album comes out probably. But I'm like, all right, it's real now. Like it's real.
Oh, and I have another thing. The first time I ever seen Bun B, I rolled him a joint.
Mm-hmm.
It was at an ASAP show. I don't even think he remembers this. I don't
Urban
think
Plaza,
he
right?
might. I don't even think he remembers this shit. The second time we met Bun B, we were in our hotel room at South by Southwest, and Josh had brought him upstairs and didn't tell us, and we're just like laid out on the bed, tired as shit.
Fucking dirty, crazy.
And he just walks in the room, was like, "Yo, what's up, man? I fuck with you guys." So yeah.
That's an interesting thing you said, that you guys are kind of like the underground kings.
Kind of, we are.
Yeah.
Because you have the ability to take like a 2-year hiatus and still have like such hype means you have like that cult fan base. You know, you might not be like being written about all the time, but like you just say you got an album coming, everyone's paying attention. And that's definitely like UGK, because like people not from the South usually don't even think of like greatest rappers from the South. They'll mention T.I., they'll mention all these people, but they never mention Pimp C or Bun B. Or
they
Akon and JG or like more
they know what they
infamous.
talking about. They mention all those guys.
Yeah,
like,
you can lead them out.
I always
Exactly.
say with the South, when people be like, "This is from the South." Yo, when I listen to Ghetto Boys, I didn't like know what the South. I didn't know the difference. That was just a hip hop record to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't make that. This whole division of shit didn't happen to like the early 2000s. When people were really like, "You're from the South. This is Southern. This." I don't pay attention to that. It's hip hop music, bro.
Tech Nine
for sure.
Damn, that'd be fire.
There's one. I mean, obviously we from Brooklyn. I always want a joint. I want a joint with Hov always. There's a lot of artists we want to fucking work with.
Even
Like,
Lil Wayne too.
Huh?
Even Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, like there's a lot of people even outside of hip hop. Like even when I want to work with fucking
R&B.
Erica Badu, I want to work with Jill Scott. I want to work with a lot of these people, and I think that this project's going to show people that like we don't just make whatever you think we make. Like we make music, so there's no one that we can't work with. Even fucking rock legends like fucking Nick Cave and shit. Like there's mad legends and mad people we want to work with. And, hopefully this opens the doors to get that done. You know, I want John Mayer. I need some John Mayer. I need some, all that shit for real.
For me, well, the first track, I produced maybe like 17 or 16 tracks on this album. The first one was produced by Tyler Dobbs, so that one, he actually called it like New York City or something like that, and when we heard it, I remember Juice was like, "Yo, this sounds like some New York shit," like, and we didn't even plan for it to be the first record at first, we just wanted to use it. And when arranging the album, I was just like, yo, like, it'll be, to me anyway, sometimes I just create something in my head. I don't know how other people interpret it, but to me, it was like, to hear a Flatbush Zombies album, and the first thing you hear, people are going to assume that I made the beat, but I didn't. And it has that feeling of like, oh, they're back.
Can't confirm.
You know what I mean? They're back, cool. And then it kind of like, whoa, like, and then it becomes, to me, like Vacation to Hell becomes the songs are weaved together with intent to be, how can I explain it? Basically a journey, but not as so much as 3001 where it was a narrative. The music was a narrative, and it wasn't like someone is actually talking about what's going to change and what's happening. And by the time you get to the end of the CD, I feel like you might have like partied and cried, you know what I mean? Or like made you think something maybe more differently, like introspective or whatever. I think that with 19 songs, we were able to like really dig deep into like different type of feelings and emotions that maybe we didn't really touch on before.
So yeah, again, like speaking of that, the song Trapped. like you're talking about introspection, whether it's the production and even the lyrics, like you guys clearly touch on depression, suicide, all these different things. So was that like an intentional, like did you want, like before the album started, did you want to talk about depression and suicide? Like is that part of the vacation in hell?
That's part of life.
It's part of
It's in us. It's
Yeah, it's in us
Yeah.
to talk about these things. So like, it seems like the album's called Vacation in Hell. You're touching these subjects. It's like I've been touching these subjects. The album is called The Sky is Blue. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, these are things that happen. These are things that's going on in our lives, and like we have a responsibility as artists to talk. We talked about Pimp C. One of the biggest, best things I ever took from him was niggas don't talk about the downfall of the game. Everybody's selling all this coke. Everybody making all this money, fucking all these bitches, but ain't nobody catching no STDs. Ain't nobody's cars getting repossessed. And I think that we're the group that defines like the ups and the downs of life. That's why we'll have a song like the intro that it starts off with this crazy energy and like, oh, this is aggression. Then we just take you somewhere else because we don't just feel one thing. Like, and yeah, man, I don't even remember what the question is anymore because I'm sitting there about to ramble off about the whole fucking album. And anyway, but in a nutshell, I really just feel like what I was trying to say just now is when people listen to our music, sometimes I feel like they try to box it in, even if it's not on purpose. Like they listen to the intro and it's like, oh, this whole album's gonna sound like this, and it's like just feel. And I think that's what we just want people to do is just feel and stop. Don't read about what the album is supposed to be.
Druggy enthused music or
and all this stuff. Don't read about how you're supposed to listen to the album. Don't do all of that. Listen to yourself and get the story yourself. And like, there's no manual to our shit, bro. Really.
So what about Chunky? Because to me, that's like a kind of like a thesis statement almost to the whole album. And there's like one bar in particular: being yourself is like a superpower these days. Was there like any like revelations you may have had over the past couple of years, maybe being on the road, that kind of like played into your creativity? Like, has the music industry kind of like tainted creativity or changed how you create in a way?
I could say particularly for me, just to quote that song too, pack your bags yourself for your vacation in hell. It's like, it was obviously like intended to be witty, but the truth of it is it's like, even though there was the problems that I'm talking about, or, you know, the topic of vacation in hell, or however you define it, it's like packing your bags yourself. When you go on tour, when you do any of your shit, you literally pack your shit. Like, you don't know how long you're going to be gone, and to be truthful, you don't know if you're going to make it back home, you know what I'm saying? And people just look at the glamour of you on stage and having money and fame or power or influence, and they don't really think about the intricacies of actually being a human being. And, you know, packing your bags, literally, you can't, like how, you know, it's metaphorical for a lot of different things, but you really do that by yourself. That's a moment when you really have to take what you need, whether it's emotions or materials, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I was particularly trying to say about that. So yeah, I definitely feel like that's something I didn't really understand until we did the world tour. Then I'm like, damn, yo, like it could just be like, yo, I wanted those sneakers that I left in my crib, but now you're like, damn, I didn't see my mom's before I left. Like that's real shit, you know? I think that answers your question.
We breed and motivate like leadership, and a lot of other groups want followers. I don't want a follower. I want a dude to come to me and be like, yo, I heard your song, and I wrote this script, and it's the greatest movie ever. Right? Other niggas want to hear, I heard your song, I can never make a song that good. That's what a lot of people want to hear. I want somebody to be like, yo, I listen to your album, because a lot of niggas do listen to us and look at us, and they make great stuff. They just don't say it. We're one of these artists that will make a song like Headstone and pay homage, because I feel like a loser if I go on stage and perform and not give Old Dirty Bastard the credit, or Biggie Smalls the credit, or Iggy Pop the credit, or Method Man the credit. I feel like a loser. A lot of these niggas, they can go to sleep at night. I don't know how. There's all the Zans in the league. They good. I can't do it, bro. It fucks with me. It really does. It really, really fucks with me, bro. The other day I had to make a post about how much I love DMX and Flesh in My Flesh, because I'm just listening to shit like, did I ever really tell the world how much? Because a nigga will listen to me and think I made all of this up. You think I'm the first person. You think Eric's the first person to sample. You think Eric's the first person to do something. You think Juice is the first person to braid his beard. And we have to make sure we explain this shit to people to keep the culture alive, because I know I'm a little bit rambling right now, but if we don't, the people before us will not, and then we'll be dead. We'll be gone, bro. It's only going to be a 10-year. Every 10 years, niggas going to forget what went on before that. We can't keep doing that.
Michael Jackson can say James Brown influenced him, and he's like one of the biggest people in the world. Then y'all can do the same.
Why is it cool for other genres to be old and be graceful? I love the way David Bowie went out. You would never be able to go out like that as a rapper unless you get shot to death on the fucking avenue. They're gonna let you gracefully go out and give you your fucking grand closing. They're never gonna do that for rap music. That's why Jay-Z retired 5 times. Like literally.
You don't have to like somebody's music or nothing like that, but I just feel like you could be a little bit respectful about it, though, for sure.
I do feel like people care too much about what other artists think about other artists. Like, it should, yo, as an interviewer, you should not be ready to ask us what we think about the hot new guy. Like, you should be having more in-depth questions. That's really annoying because the new artists just want to talk about old dude, and the older dudes don't want to talk about new guy, and that's what causes this gap. So I'm an old dude and I did 10 years in this game. You're gonna ask me about some new young nigga? I don't want to hear about this dude. Like, I can understand this shit. So it's like exactly what you're saying. So I think that's really, really the issue. Like, my opinion on Lil Uzi should not matter to Lil Uzi fans. It should maybe not matter to my fans. It doesn't matter, period.
I think we're getting closer. I think that Pro Era is gonna come out with some fire, and then I think we can see what happens after that.
I see you want to say something, but you're not trying to say it.
Because we don't know exactly what's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like,
I'm hoping we make an album.
We're moving in the direction.
I'm moving towards us making an album. I'm just gonna put that out there. Laws of Attraction. And you know, Kurt Knight and Eric Elliott production on the fucking album. And you know, Beast Coast tour again. And yeah, I'm hoping that happens.
That's what we're,
That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.